Hi, Andres Parada here. Today I wanted to talk about traditional versus digital sketching and some of the pros and cons with each of them. Starting with traditional sketching, some of the pros for me is that it's very easy. We're all familiar with it. We have all done it as children, as kids, and the tools you're using, we're all very familiar with them. I mean, all you really need is paper and pen. And that leads into the next point that I think is a big pro is that it's so cheap. A ream of paper and a good ballpoint pen or a good felt tip pen, it's all you need and you can go right ahead. And I recommend to bind the papers into some kind of a sketchbook, but if it's easier for you to just draw on a blank sheet of paper, go for that as well. The third thing that is great with traditional sketching is that you can do it from everywhere, literally. From a desk, on your couch, while you're commuting, bus, train, in class, on lunch breaks. It's just so easy to bring a sketchbook or some papers with you and a couple of good pens, and you can do it from everywhere. Some of the cons with traditional sketching is that it's non-editable. Once you have a sketch done, it's done, and it's pretty hard to fix it. And the other thing is the storage. It takes quite a bit of space to store all these papers, especially if you do it every day for a couple of hours. Very soon you start having a large collection of sketches, and to manage them and keep track of where all the sketches are and which order and so forth, it becomes quite cumbersome. Moving over to digital sketching, some of the pros is that it's editable. You can always go back into a sketch and fix it and change it even a lot later, which is a great thing that you can always refine your work. It also gives you a lot of options, not only when it comes to software and what software you want to use, but also within the softwares themselves. There are several kinds of pens and brushes and different colors and textures and so forth. A lot of different tools that gives you a lot of options, which makes it also very fun to explore, and you are always learning new ways and new techniques to do things. The third thing that I think is greatly helpful with digital sketching is the easy integration of other tools like 3D programs, CAD programs, photography, and so forth. To integrate all of those into your artwork and have them help you out in your artwork is very easy when you're working digitally. The main cons that I see with digital sketching is first and foremost that it's so expensive. Not only do you need a good reliable computer that has some power, but you need a tablet device, and those can be quite expensive. So computer, software, and the tablet itself can easily become several $1,000s, and yeah, it's quite hefty. Also is that you're a little bit more tied to a location. It's harder to move around with all this equipment, and that is another big negative with digital. I personally think that both are very important, and I try to do both as much as I can. I think it's good to start with traditional sketching until you're comfortable with it and then move over to digital. And none of them will make you a better designer, but in my opinion, digital sketching makes me perhaps a faster designer and a faster artist, and that for me is highly valuable, and that's why I spend most of my sketching time on a digital tablet. And I would like to just show a couple of things that shows why for me it makes me a faster designer with it. So I will open up a sketch here from earlier this year, and one thing that makes my workflow faster is that the composition. It's very easy as I'm presenting this to a client to lay out my sketch or perhaps arrange the size of it. It just goes so fast to move and manipulate my sketch, which I find very helpful. The other thing that is greatly helpful is the layer structure and how you can stack up your sketch into separate layers, which makes it very easy to manipulate and edit. For example, there are certain parts, in this case this armor, that I don't want to have. I can go in to the right layers and just delete them, and then go in and edit and so forth, and add or take away to my sketch, and it goes really fast. And just keeping track of which layer that I'm working on, I can then go in and change and fix very fast. And that for me is really, really helpful. That makes changes like these very, very fast, and I can work on making one, and then from that maybe keep 60, 70, 80% of it, and then just do the other changes, and I can have iterations quite easily, as you can see here. I hope in a future video to go through a little bit more about my layer structure and how that helps me in my pipeline and my workflow. So please look forward to that, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.